Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is Q of Aqleqtic Tarot, and I hope that you all have been doing well. I am finally back from my vacation, and I've gotten resettled back in at home. And I said, you know what? Now is a perfect time to start sharing some of the information with you all that I have been looking into, as we are definitely in the second part of 2025's eclipse season. Okay. So we had our lunar eclipse on September 7th, 2025. It was a lunar eclipse in Pisces, and there has just been so much going on. I don't know about you, what's been going on personally in your life, but as far as this country, as far as the world is concerned, there has been a lot going on, and I am definitely attributing what's going on with these eclipses. Our second eclipse, the solar eclipse in Virgo, is going to be on September 21st, 2025. So, um, yeah, let me just get right into it. So, if you haven't been paying attention, or if you did not notice, the world lost an iconic fashion designer, Giorgio Armani. He passed away on September 4th, 2025 in Milan, Italy. And, me being me, I wanted to look and see if there was anything astrological going on with his chart. Um, is there a possibility that his passing, was time and just was timed with the eclipses, with this eclipse that was coming up, the September 7th eclipse in Pisces, right? So I started to do a little bit of digging, and this is what I found. So here we have Giorgio Armani's birth chart. He was born July 11th, 1934, in Piacenza, Italy. I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian. At 7:20 a.m. Italian time. So we can look at this chart and we can see, all of his planets, all of his personal placements. But the one thing that I want you all to pay attention to is his houses, okay? His second house is the house of Virgo. Okay, Virgo is his second house. His eighth house is the Piscean house. Why is this important? Because these eclipses are occurring in both Pisces and Virgo. The Virgo solar eclipse, again, is going to be on September 21st this year, and the total lunar eclipse in Pisces was September 7th. Okay. His eighth house is a Piscean house. So these eclipses, at least, he's no longer here. And he passed away on September 4th, before the Pisces total lunar eclipse. But it was occurring in his eighth house. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so as you can see here, I have added in three charts. So the innermost chart is Giorgio Armani's natal chart. Again, I'm not here to um, delineate his horoscope. I just want to show you the transits, the energy that was present, on the day that he passed. So the innermost yellow or beige chart is his natal chart. The middle green chart are the transits on the day that he passed, which I have for September 4th, 2025 at 12 noon in Milan, Italy. I do not have the exact time that he passed away, so we're just going to use the 12 o'clock noon time as a designation for this chart. The outermost beige or tan colored ring is the time that the total lunar eclipse occurred in Milan, Italy. So if you just look, you can see that the eighth house, okay, the eighth house is the Piscean house, and the North Node is in his eighth house in Pisces, okay? The North Node, when you have a significant event transiting any house, you have to kind of look at that. So, as we can see, the North Node is in Pisces, and that's where that total lunar eclipse occurred on September 7th in Pisces. So, this ending energy, because Pisces is the sign of endings, right? In the northern hemisphere, Pisces is the sign of winter, and then spring begins in Aries. So the new life begins in the sign of Aries. The winter, when things are dormant or dead, um, going through that portal of change, transformation, that occurs in Pisces. And we can see that here. And if you are uncertain where the eighth house is, just look where it says transits in green, and then you'll see the blue Pisces sign. And then you can see all of that going on in the eighth house. So this was occurring in his eighth house. It literally was his time to pass away. Now, another thing that I noticed that was very, very interesting when looking at the chart, if you look at the middle ring, the green ring, which is the transits, on the day that he passed, the moon was in the sixth house. So the moon, when we're talking about people in astrology, the moon is the body, the moon is people. If you look at the sixth house, okay, you will see the moon. Okay, just look for the number six in the wheel. That is the sixth house. You will see the moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So the moon on the day that he passed, at least around 12 noon, was at the critical 29 anaretic degree, which is also sometimes called the crisis degree for those who look into degree points in astrology, the degree theory in astrology. So we have the body, the transiting moon, the body on his body on that day at the critical ending degree, because when we're talking about degrees in astrology, there are 30 degrees, but it goes 0 to 29. So 29 is the last degree before a major change. So the moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So if his sixth house is ruled by Saturn, where was Saturn on the day that he passed? Saturn had just retrograded back into Pisces. Okay. So Saturn, another sign, I'm sorry, not another sign, a planet that's associated with death, right? When we talk about pictures of the Grim Reaper, okay, that's Saturn. Saturn is the timekeeper. Okay. So Saturn, on the day that he passed, was at the 29 anaretic critical crisis degree in his eighth house in the sign of Pisces. Okay. And Pisces is a mutable sign, the sign where um energies are changing, they are no longer fixed. Things are changing. So the energy is easily malleable, okay, when we're talking about mutable signs. So I found that absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating, right? The North Node, where he was going, what he was headed towards in his eighth house, the Piscean eighth house, the eighth house of death, transformations, rebirth. Okay. Deep, deep energy there. So I found that absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. All right. So let me show you something else. Let me change this out. Let me show you something else. So when I was looking through, the energetics and things like that, I decided to look at his perfections. Okay. So perfections it's a timing technique. It's a Hellenistic timing technique in which parts of your life are ruled by different energies, right? And perfections are calculated from the ascendant. This is why knowing your exact birth time is absolutely imperative if you want to look into things like various timing techniques, like secondary progressions, like perfected years, right? Okay, so you can have perfected months and perfected years. When it comes to perfected years, the perfected years is, every 12 years, okay? When you're looking at that, you can see that over on the left side of the annual and monthly perfections chart that I have here, okay? So the year he was born, okay, at age 0, his since he's a Leo rising, the perfection start with his rising sign. So if you look down into the chart, you can see July 11th, 2018. Okay, it's highlighted there. And then, we move over into the second column. You see July 11th, 2025. So your perfected year, the years, it always changes on your birthday. Giorgio Armani did see his birthday this year, 2025. So you can see that if you look at July 11th, 2025, he was in a what? He was in a Piscean sign perfected year. So all of 2025, important things would have been happening to him through the sign of Pisces. We just looked at his chart. His eighth house is in Pisces. So he absolutely passed away during his eighth house profected year. He was an eighth house profected year. We saw that the eighth house for Giorgio Armani is in Pisces. Okay. Now, another thing I kind of want to look at is you can see here on the right side, we have the list of parts. So Al-Biruni was an old Middle Eastern astrologer. I'm talking about way back in the day, right? And Al-Biruni came up with various parts or energies that can be looked at in an astrological chart, right? So you can go look for Al-Biruni's list of parts, right? On your own. I'm not going deep into that. But if you can see here, Giorgio Armani's has been calculated. If you look, you can see the part of death. Okay, there are all these Arabic parts. The part of death is 13 degrees of Libra. Okay, 13 degrees of Libra. And let me just bring this in, make it a little bit bigger so you all can see. Okay, so I have brought this in and I put the arrows there so you can absolutely see it. So you can see the part of death. Okay, the part of death at 13 degrees of Libra in his third house. Okay, and this is, like I said, information that I brought in from the astrology software because you really can't see it. You can't see it when I bring a chart up on the screen. So I just put these in right here. And it says, notes, if the part of death is well disposed, the native will die a natural death in their own bed. I think he passed away at home, probably in the comfort of his own home. Okay. Part of death at 13 degrees of Libra. Why am I mentioning this? Let's go back to his charts and look. Okay, so we just saw again that the part of death was Libra, right? His third house, which is his Libra house. Why is this significant? This is significant because his eighth house, which is the Pisces house, the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. So not only was Giorgio Armani in an eighth house perfected year, meaning that important themes and activities in his life were going to occur through his eighth house, which is his Pisces house, his natal part of death is in Libra. The planet in his third house part of death is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces. That's the planetary ruler of Pisces. They go together real bad. And then you can also see down there Mars in his third house. Mars is in Libra. Mars does not like being in Libra. Mars does not like that is not a good placement for Libra. So, isn't it interesting? I find it very, very interesting. So, again, the world has lost a great fashion designer, Giorgio Armani. He really put like Italy on the map, when they're talking about New York like I know New York Fashion Week is going on and all like that. But there are so many places around the world that are just homes for fashion and culture and design. And Giorgio Armani really put Milan on the map, right? Really put Milan on the map. So, um, I know his funeral has already occurred. Um, I hope his friends and his family are, comforted, during this time of loss. But yeah, he was meant to pass, and the astrology shows how this total lunar eclipse in Pisces that was occurring in his eighth house, it was just meant to be. He was 2025. He began a an eighth house perfected year, which is where the total lunar eclipse happened in his eighth house. And then, his part of death, his third house, which was Libra, but the planet in his house is Jupiter, which is absolutely connected to Pisces in that eighth house up there, right? We also saw that the moon was at 29 degrees of Capricorn in his sixth house. The sixth house is day-to-day activities, as well as this is where illness occurs, where bad things can occur. And, the Capricorn moon, 29 degrees on the day that he passed, with Saturn also at 29 degrees of with Saturn also at 29 degrees in Pisces. It all matches, it all clicks, it all resonates. So, thank you so much everyone for watching. Please get down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this. So, I'm going to see you all later on the flip side. I hope that you have a wonderful one. Bye-bye.